All right, hear me out here. So I have some strange things that I care about, okay? And I'm going to talk to you about them. If you don't want to hear, that's fine. This is not a freaking straight line, internet. Stop sharing these images. Look, you can sail so far. So 20,000 miles in a straight line. This is not a straight line. Okay, first off, I'm not a flat earther. I know that the world is curved. So this could be considered to be a straight line because you don't have to turn left or right in order to achieve it. But the thing about Earth, and I have a prop to demonstrate this for you. The thing about fucking Earth is it's three-dimensional. Let me draw you a straight line in three-dimensional space. And I got a... All right, here we go. I'll use a cable. Here is a straight line in three-dimensional space. Okay? Here's another one. Here's another one. Here is not a straight freaking line. You see this thing? You see this? This is a curved line. You cannot sail in a straight line from anywhere on Earth to anywhere else on Earth because the world is curved. This is not a straight line. All right, that's number one. That's number one. I have two more for you. Number two, this freaking map. So people think countries. People use the word country like they hate dictionaries and words and all kinds of things. This is meant to be a map of all the countries that have invaded Poland. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm going to let you look at it for a moment. Let me point out a few things, which I think are kind of obvious. Does it capture properly if I do this? I think it doesn't. But look at this. Okay, so step one. There's various problems I have with this. Turkey is one of the obvious ones. When was the Turkish invasion of Poland? Turkey, notably not the Ottoman Empire, for God's sake. Why do these maps always side with the weirdest nationalist movements that think countries are the same as their previous countries? Okay, so there's one problem, which is countries are not the same as, like, Russia, the Russian Federation. This is not the Russia that invaded Poland in, whatever, either beginning of World War II or before World War I. This is a different country. Countries are legal entities. Try and make this Russia pay Soviet Russia's financial debt. Try and make this Russia criminally liable in international court for injustices carried out in World War I. It won't work because it's not the same country. Anyway, I think, has it got the title? Yeah, okay. European countries that have invaded Poland using modern political borders. The problem is, the modern political borders of the country that invaded Poland, that was called Russia, is nothing. There is no modern political border of that country. It doesn't exist. And then we have the more egregious one, in my opinion. We've got the Czech Republic and Slovakia being said to have invaded Poland. Now, Slovakia, all right, it's one of the more reasonable ones because Slovakia, as a puppet of Germany, invaded Poland. But, yeah. So the claim is usually made this is because Czechoslovakia invaded Poland, which is true. But neither of these countries are Czechoslovakia. Like, I know the word could be confusing. We've got Czechia and Slovakia, Czechoslovakia, but they're different. They're different. I don't know why this bothers me so much, but it does. They're different freaking countries. Anyway, if you think that the Czech Republic should count because Czechoslovakia invaded Poland, I'd like you to explain to me why Finland doesn't count, and why Ireland doesn't count, and why Norway doesn't count. Because all three of those countries were part of another country that invaded Poland, the UK and Sweden, respectively. I'm just saying. All right, third one. No, sorry, there's two more. So the next one. This is meant to be a map of countries. Hear me out here. Hear me out here, because I'm going to blow a freaking gasket. This is a map of countries named in the Bible. Now, a few points. Number one. As far as I can tell, none of these countries existed when the Bible was written. Literally none of them. Some of them wouldn't exist for thousands of years. Or, all right, like 1900. But come on! It's practically 2 millennia after the Bible was written that any of these countries existed. Ironically enough, Jordan not coloured in. Jordan, many times mentioned in the Bible, not as a country, admittedly, but they're not stopping that for anything else. So there's a bit in the Bible that refers to India. Yes, but countries mentioned in the Bible does not mean the name we use for countries. The country India is like, what is it? It's less than 100 years old. You can't say India, the country was mentioned in the Bible. It's even got freaking South Sudan. This country's less old than I am, I think. Right? I gotta check. South Sudan. These are the things that I spend my time being concerned with. Yes! This country is barely half as old as I am. I mean, South Sudan? I don't think it was mentioned in the Bible. It would be, if I'll tell you this, actually. If South Sudan was mentioned in the Bible, I'd be a lot more likely to be a Christian, because that would be impressive foresight. Literally 2,000 years. Anyway. And Spain? Anyway. Incoherent, silly map. And then the last one, and this one, of course, as a British chap myself, near and dear to my heart, only 22 countries have never been invaded by Britain. Many of these are true. Many of them are true. Many of them are bollocks. Notably, Russia, again, for reasons we explored earlier. Russia is not the Soviet Union. Russia is not the previous country, Russia. Russia is not the Bolshevik state during the... Well, it's a different country, okay? But I can get you on much more conclusive ones than that. Ireland? What are you smoking? When did Britain invade the country of Ireland? And I want to be very clear here, because I know what the counter argument is. I've had it on Reddit so many times. And map porn and r/maps on Reddit, by the way, fantastic places to argue with people about maps. It's great fun. Ireland, that was invaded by Britain, not a country, not the country Ireland anyway. Obviously, Ireland as a country, again, like 100 years old, more now, right? It's like 19. When was Ireland? Ireland. It's like 110 years old. 108. When was it? Why can't I find it? No, not Northern Ireland. Independence. 19... Okay, so officially, it's only 70 years old. We didn't invade Ireland. I say we in the loosest possible terms, because of course it wasn't me. Oops. I think I've just ripped my jumper. I'm so angry. I'm going to tear my jumper in half. Anyway, other ones on here. Friggin' Ukraine? Excuse me? What are you talking about? When did the British invade Ukraine? This is nonsense. You didn't have to say... All right, yeah, sorry. Go back and say... This is the point. You didn't have to say countries in the title. That was a choice. That was the choice that drives my blood to boil. Because you didn't have to say countries. You could have said regions. And there's an extremely good map. I don't have it up. Hang on. Let me find this map. Here it is. This is a good map. I'm sure it's still not perfect, but this is a much better map. A map of everything, England or Great Britain. And yeah, this is another important distinction. This one says Britain and it includes stuff that England did. England and Britain, not the same country. You know who the King of England is? He doesn't exist. You know who the Queen of England was a couple of years ago? She didn't exist. There hasn't been a Kingdom of England or an England England with a king for a blooming long time. Anyway, so here's an actual good map of the areas. And you can see, even on this freaking map, we're not including a whole bunch of stuff that ends up getting included on the other one. But yeah, this is a good map. I respect to that person that made that one. Anyway, what are the other ones on here? Yes, okay. So, just confusing contradictions. So, for example, it shows Britain as having invaded South Sudan. Fairly incoherent. It shows England as having invaded Canada. That's an interesting one. Not quite sure how they got to that conclusion. And then, gratifyingly for me, it shows them as having invaded the bit of France that's overseas. So that's fun, because that proves the point that France, this is clearly France over here, which people sometimes disagree with. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, but this is the kind of thing that drives me up the freaking wall. But yeah, there you go. There's your little insight into the weird and wonderful mind of Christo and why Paradox Games have driven him to care far, far too much about maps. I hope you enjoyed this little ramble about nothing at all. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.